I spoke to CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky earlier today about why the Delta variant is so concerning.
This is a variant that we've been following closely around the world and now here in the United States. What we know about when viruses mutate and create these variants is they tend to do so with some advantage to the virus. And in this case, we're seeing that advantage manifest in a way that it is more transmissible. Now what we're finding is this Delta variant is even more transmissible than the UK variant. So not only is it more transmissible, but there is some concern that it actually may lead to more severe illness. So we're watching that really carefully.
What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
The data that we have so far demonstrate that our mRNA vaccines, if you've received both doses, they should work really well against the Delta variant. There are early data now from the UK that if you've only received one dose, it may not be as protective. So we really are encouraging everybody to not only get the first dose of that vaccine, but also get the second dose of that vaccine. The AstraZeneca vaccine in the UK also looks like it's protective against severe and deadly disease. We're looking at and examining the data for the J&J vaccine here. Given how similar it is to the AstraZeneca vaccine, we're anticipating it will also be working well for severe and deadly disease. What worries me most is we have pockets of this country that are less vaccinated than others.
As far as talk of possible booster shots for those who are fully vaccinated, today a CDC advisory panel said there is not enough data to recommend booster doses at this time, but they will continue to closely monitor this. Dr. Walensky notes most of the data they have so far are out to 6 months.
That doesn't mean that it ends at 6 months or that your immune protection ends at 6 months. It's just that that's the data that we have so far. And so we're looking for a longer horizon to help make those decisions.
But the idea of a booster seems real in your viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question would be 6 months, a year, 2 years. How long will that be? It's possible that it'll be on the shorter end. I don't think we'll have the data today to make that decision.
So projecting forward a couple of months, what can you say about how schools will look like? Will kids be able to be in classrooms again?
That is my goal. I fully believe that our children should be back at school. They should be back there full time. The expectation is that they can have in-person learning. I've said all along, school should be the last place to close and the first place to open. We are planning for that for the fall. Will it look identical to what it looked like 2 or 3 years ago? It may not. We've learned a lot.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.